Hello everyone and welcome to Gierok Farms. Today we are on the dairy farm. It is Christmas morning actually, and we are going to get started early here with chores. First thing I'm going to do before it's even light out here is get started on these other two barns, these smaller barns, and then we'll move up to the dairy barn. So we're going to feed some grain down here and we're going to move on to feeding the silage in the dairy barn. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, we are done with feeding this morning. I'm gonna go back to the calf barn here, the young stock barn, and push up all the hay, and I have some bedding to spread out as well. Looks like everybody cleaned up their grain fairly well. So let's grab a pitchfork and push up all the hay. There we go, all the feed's pushed up here in the calf barn. Since it's so wet and sloppy, I'm gonna throw a straw bale into the small side of the calf barn here. They could use a couple flakes each of straw. Give them a nice new fresh layer to add to the bedding pack. There you go, the calf barn. The small side is bedded up and has a nice new dry layer of bedding for the bedding pack, we call it. Especially when it's been so wet here weather-wise. It's been a very weird end to the year so far. A very weird December. For the past couple days here, it's been a high of 50 and it's been raining and it's just been turning to mud. We had a little bit of frost in November and early December, but I think it's pulling some of that out. It's a very wet and sloppy and messy Christmas so far. So it's important to keep some dry bedding on the ground, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to drive in there every day and be cleaning up that bedding pack. So we just keep adding a layer to it to give them a nice dry pad to lay on, and it keeps them cleaner and healthier. Speaking of healthy, we got these two spunky babies in here looking for some milk already, which is great to see that they're both hungry and ready to take on the day. Soon here they'll be getting their breakfast once we get milking going. This one, he's been so spunky, he doesn't beller as much as this white one, but he's been jumping over into the bigger pen, hanging out with the older calves. So we had to put up a temporary panel to keep them from jumping over this wall into the other pen, which is good to see that they're both vigorous and healthy. Same with the ducks here. They just got let out this morning and they're already on a mad dash to graze and play in the mud. They are probably loving this weather. This seems like ideal duck weather. So that's an update on them two barns. Dairy barn, we're done feeding in there, and we're gonna get milking here soon and enjoy listening to some Christmas music on the radio.
Now look at that. It's Christmas Day. I'm in a t-shirt in the morning. I mean, it feels like it's like middle of March out here. It must have rained last night about a half inch. It's been gloomy for like about, I don't know, 8-10 days in a row now where it's just been kind of damp out. I mean, I remember in the 90s, we had one time in the 90s where it was like below zero, of course, and lots of snow, and Christmas morning, stuff is froze up, and it's so different. I mean, I got all the doors in the barn and windows I can open to get ventilation. And it doesn't sound like any real cold spell is on its way neither. I got jackets on all these calves, all the younger ones. And it was 52 degrees when we got up this morning. That's pretty warm for Christmas morning. I mean, I think even the hillsides appear to be greening up slightly from the warmer weather, like it's supposed to grow. I mean, if you kind of look, maybe you can't tell with the camera, but this is kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know if that's so good for things. It'd have been better off if it just stayed cold. I think this is what we call duck weather. There's some containers from the water dripping off the roof that are filled in. They're actually swimming in that stuff. Weather like this can be like pneumonia weather for cattle. They got their winter coats on and then you get this warm like this. And then it'll probably get cold eventually again, and the change is too drastic. Seems like we're using an awful lot of bedding now, which is to be expected in this wet, damp weather. Ideal is teens at night and, you know, upper 20s to low 30s in the day. And some snow. Everything's cleaner and sun. But the one thing's for sure and for certain is it will change. Can't beat that. Calves that are hungry, that can't get enough. Big bulging eyes. The white one, I almost put 2 bottles in last night, but I guess I don't want to overdo it with them, even though they want it. That's a lot of milk to digest.
Yeah, Aaron got everybody fed here early on. These guys are going to need some new bedding again. Just yesterday, we just cleaned this up. And kind of go through some things again this morning quick. Keep them dry. Keep everything good when it is good. It's prevention. I don't care how much work it is. You feel a lot better working hard and getting results than trying to correct things that are wrong later.
Okay, we have finished up with milking. We finished up washing up here in the milk house, and we took advantage of it being warm out and cleaned off the concrete pad in front of the barn here. Especially over the winter, coming in and out of the barn, we drag a lot of manure and chaff and stuff like that, just because it's a high traffic area. So it's nice to take advantage of these warmer days and clean a lot of the grime off of the pad here. Keep up with the cleanliness here on the farm. Before we get to working on the stall barn here, cleaning things up, I wanted to show you the fruits of our labor. For a channel on a dairy farm, I don't feel like I get to show you guys much of the actual end product. There you go, there's the milk. Looking great and clean, and we'll have another day of milking, and then the milk hauler will come and pick it up. That metal shaft in the center, for those of you that aren't familiar, that's an agitator, which stirs the milk and prevents it from separating, where the cream's on top, and then the more watery liquid type milk is on the bottom. So that will just automatically stir every once in a while. And then we have a cooler that's set at 38 degrees, which keeps our milk cool and keeps it from spoiling. And then in the US, for grade A milk, which is the top tier of milk, I don't even know anybody that would do anything other than grade A anymore. You have to keep it at a lower temp like that, and then it has to be picked up every other day. So that's the schedule we're on, where the milk truck comes every other day. There's our thermostat. There you go, there's the end product. Now let's get to taking care of business here, cleaning up the barn and getting things ready for the cows to come back in. Also, while we're talking, I wanted to remind you guys that if you haven't already, make sure to go check out GierokFarms.com. That's our personal website. There we sell some of our hats, our summer hats, our baseball hats. So if you want to support us in more ways than just watching the videos and commenting, which we really appreciate, then go get yourself a Gierok Farms hat. But anyways, like I was saying, let's get to work.
This is where he put some of the leftovers. And I don't know why, but when they're outside, it's just like it's gravy again. It's like they'll eat it better. In the barn, they just keep pushing it around like it ain't good enough sometimes. And then when you sweep it together and bring it out here, they all fight over it. I think it's because of the competition or something. Gotta be good if somebody else wants it. You wanna lick that? And their tongues are longer than a Holstein. So if there's a pail of grain or a wheelbarrow, right, you tip it over. Heck, you could have a wheelbarrow full of manure, they'd tip it over just to tip it over.
Okay, I have the barn all bedded up. All that's left to do in here is throw down some more hay. I already have it spread out on the lower side here. We had a couple bales left over, so they're fed over there. I just gotta throw 1 or 2 extra down. And then I also gotta work on this other side. We gotta spread out 3-4 bales and have 1 or 2 extra for tonight. And then I'm gonna spread the lime. So I'm headed up to our last, our back half of our hay barn here. That's something I wanted to touch on too with this warm weather. The cows aren't eating a whole lot compared to like a typical December. It's not as cold, so they don't need as many calories to just maintain their weight or fulfill their energy needs. The dairy herd's consuming enough calories to keep producing milk, especially with like our dry cows and heifers being all they're really doing is growing a calf, and it's so warm. We're feeding a lot less, which I guess is one of the bright sides of it being warmer this time of year. So we're definitely going to save on feed with a couple weeks like this, but there's plenty of winter left, so we could pay for it here in the long run. We never know what type of winter we're going to get, but as of right now, it's working out really good. It would be ideal if it was freezing, you know, if it stayed at a high of 30 all the time. That would be a lot cleaner for the cattle, a lot healthier for the cattle, but being it's a lot warmer, they are able to eat a lot less to maintain their body weight. They just, you know, they're not going to need as many calories to stay warm. Something too I wanted to touch on, it feels a lot like spring. We've been getting some rain here lately. It feels a lot like middle of March. Okay, we finished up in the dairy barn, got everything bedded up, cleaned up, fed up, lime on the ground. I'm gonna hop in the skid steer here, switch out the bucket for the grapple, and we're gonna bed up the bull barn. According to Dad yesterday, he scraped it out. There ain't a whole lot of manure in there, but there is a bedding pack, so we're gonna throw a nice fresh layer of bedding over the top of that existing bedding pack. so the small heifer side here is bedded up. So I'm gonna end off the video here. Thank you all for making it to the end. We got a lot done this morning. It was nice to bring you along with for morning chores, show you a bit of milking. I want to remind you guys to make sure you're consuming dairy products. Make sure you're eating plenty of cheese, milk, ice cream, butter, all that good stuff. It's nutritious and delicious. It's one of the healthiest and economically sound and sustainable proteins out there. Make sure to consume your dairy products. They're super good for you and healthy for you, and they taste good too. Also, remember to go check out GierokFarms.com if you want to get yourself a hat. Thank you all for the support. Make sure to leave comments down below about what the weather's looking like in your area, ending the year and going into the new year. Also, make sure to check out our other videos. But that's going to be it. We'll see you all next time.